All in favor? Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 42, minutes, and everybody has an enclosure.
I move we accept the minutes.
All in favor? Receipts and bills.
All right. We had a pretty normal month. About the only things I'd like to point out to you, of course, is our electric bill, which is about $30,000 every month. Debt service payments, we had a couple of those, and around $20,000 and around $100,000. And I think that's pretty well the month.
Anybody want to pay the bills? Favor? Consideration, Morris and Leona Ingram Memorial Scholarship for future educators.
Well, and I'll share just a little bit, and any of you all are welcome to jump in as well here in just a minute and share as well. But I'm just going to read just a little bit of this, but try to hit the highlights. But Morris Ingram, he was born here in Greene County in 1928, graduated from Greensburg High School in 1946. He later became a teacher and taught here in Greene County, Glenview, Campground, and Fancy Ridge. Some of the schools he taught there from 47 to 50, and also in Greensburg from 57 to 59. Leona was also born here as a teacher at Union Hall in Glenview from 1943 to 1959. After they earned their bachelor's and master's degrees from WKU, the Ingrams relocated to Louisville in 1959. They both had full careers as educators in Jefferson County in the public school system there. Leona taught there at 2nd Stone Street Elementary from 1959 through 1982 when she retired. Morris taught 5th grade at Medora Elementary for 4 years and then served as principal for 20 years, retiring from Lane Elementary in 1983. In their last will, they made clear that they wished to provide the opportunity for other Greene County students to enjoy the same opportunities they have. By doing this, they very much did so. And they bequeathed funds in the amount of $1 million to establish a scholarship fund to assist graduating Greene County High School seniors, with priority given to first-generation college students, defined as neither parent holding a bachelor's degree, who intend to enter the field of education as a teacher at any level, elementary, middle, or high school, while attending a Kentucky college or university. And I think we've said it many times over. We had a working session yesterday, and this is just such a great opportunity for the children of Greene County. For many, this will be the only way, and for those that have no way, this provides a way. And it's just a great opportunity, and certainly appreciative. I know our community is, our county is, and we'll go a long ways for a long time in helping many kids long past us. And I have a release here that I will send out to our radio stations, our newspapers as well, and we'll get the word out on that. So that'll be probably hitting the airways in the morning and over the weekend and maybe on Monday around here. And we'll also share it with the Courier Journal as well. Certainly appreciative, and board, if you all want to say anything, and then I'll let Don, Keith, or Sally, or you all can say anything as well.
I'm just happy to be here and happy to see that this is happening. Wonderful.
I know Mark for many years. He used to come up to the store and eat all the time. I know that you've done well, but I never dreamed of that.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. I saw a lot of Mark. Don and him come up there a lot. He used to come in every couple of weeks, and he was up there every time.
A
last time he was down, we came by there, I thought you closed.
I thought a lot from Mark.
Mark said, well, damn.
Yeah.
He wanted his bar sandwich.
He was always as nice to me as he could be. I thought lots of him. I always knowed him all my life.
Well, I know him too, because he's from the Bakersville, Mansburg area. And he would always come up to Warren Vander's grocery years ago, so I'm from there originally, so I'm well aware of the street.
He never met very many strangers.
No.
But he's gonna have a lot of good thoughts and lots of opportunities for kids who would never have been able to even think about going to college. And that $10,000 boost that freshman year can just go with the hump, and then you're gonna really just want that education so bad. And that was the really heartwarming part of this. He said, I want, you could tell he was an educator because he wanted to get a taste of what life was like to come, and this is going to make it better. Education, and it was a priority in his life, and he has made it going to be a priority in these young people's lives that have received these scholarships, and as a board, we'll be eternally grateful for the Ingram family.
Larry just came in, he's with the Big Dog there in Campbellsville, and of course serves the whole community. Larry, there's a press release there, and I think Dan gave you a copy of the whole document. But just, I'll read that press release since you're here, and you may want to catch some here after we're finished. We won't be too long, but
Give me record you as you read it?
I can.
Okay.
Can. All right, Greene County Schools today announced a $1 million scholarship endowment in memory of Morris and Leona Ingram, former educators in Greene County and Jefferson County. The Ingrams were lifelong educators and wanted to provide a path for future educators residing in their birthplace, Greene County. The endowment, known as the Morris and Leona Ingram Memorial Scholarship for Future Educators, will be used to help cover tuition for first-generation college students who intend to enter the field of education as a teacher while attending a Kentucky college or university. Established with $1 million bequeathed by Morris and Leona Ingram, the scholarship will be offered to eligible graduating seniors of Greene County High School.
Don. I was looking at Don Ingram.
Kind of a mask man.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the mask, by the way.
Yeah. And I'll tell you too, we're in the process of building a new high school. So build a new Greene County High School, and definitely we want to put something up there, plaque when that school's built, and just kind of recognizing the scholarship. I know you all didn't come for anything, because Zach just had something here that we're going to release just to announce this on social media. So we'll get the word out, and I was telling Sally, thanking them when they came in. The neat thing, last year we established a teaching and learning pathway. So we have freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors that work with Campbellsville University. They're already on the path to be educators, and this just ties together very well with that. So it's a great opportunity.
Just an overwhelming feeling, the confidence that he has in our school system. It's hard to express in words.
But when he, when he was on the decline, I guess we lost him one time, and he run off a little bit, and they found him over in eastern Kentucky. But what he told the state trooper who picked him up said that he asked him where he was going, and he said, "I'm going home." And he was trying to get here because no matter where he was, he always thought this was home. Thought that was.
And you mean he got bad enough, he got out and Lord have mercy, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got all the way over to, I believe it was
Lord. But no, he wanted to come to Greene County.
If you all are willing, you probably need to officially accept this.
A motion to that effect.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor? unanimous. And thank you.
Thank you. Would you all, would y'all like to do a picture or anything? If you all officially handed it off?
We just want to touch it.
We can do that. We can do that now.
Let me take a picture, you guys.
Y'all want to do that
I'll
now?
do a picture presentation, I'll take the picture.
I've never seen a check with that many zeros.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Well, I can do it, and I can text it to you, or I'll send it to you.
It's whatever y'all want to do. It's,
We'll do a check presentation.
let's do it.
Y'all want to come in front here?
Take our mask off for that.
Y'all get to hold it again?
I'm sorry?
Y'all get to hold it again? So
Yes.
guys can hand it to you?
You should make one of these big checks.
I got a plot.
There you go, I'll let you.
Stand over. And if we want, let's maybe center up here. Y'all like to slide right over here, we'll get in front of that table.
Is that gonna bother you?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, the sun.
Sun's gonna blow the picture.
Sorry, back this way.
Yeah, let's just do it. Let this ball I'll be the backdrop. Do we need to pull that table? I think it'd be fine. Just, because we can do it right here. Board members can't get a picture.
You may be.
You know you need your birthday picture. Off road.
Whatever y'all want to do.
Maybe we can take it down so you know you're a
Maybe let y'all slide in front of the table.
And do twos, stand in twos.
Yeah, that's amazing.
As in just
Come in front of,
just like I'm standing in front of him.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got you.
So let's do twos. That way we
Y'all
know.
slide around in front.
Y'all kind of make y'all mind up what you want us to do. None move around too much.
Okay, the superintendent
We'll take
and
that
the
second.
check presenter, you can kind of stand out.
Come on in, boy. Where y'all going?
Will, you and Will kind of stand out.
Marcy, if you're going to one of your tables.
They need anything.
We're gonna see.
I guess the objective is everybody try to get their face in the picture. Let's all try to.
You get right here.
You got me,
Dan,
Larry.
scoot a little bit more. There you go. Marcy, get a little bit closer to her if you don't care. Okay, y'all ready?
Everybody hold their breath.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, let it go.
This looks really good.
No, that's fine.
Do not send that to the governor.
Don't send it to them.
Or do.
Oh, thank you all too.
Safe travel.
Just what do you want?
Sorry.
Keep things.
I ain't sitting that close to nobody. Thank y'all very much.
Y'all welcome to stay. We got more stuff going on.
You can just send it to me.
What's that?
You can send it if you want to. Is that okay? Scan it on the email. Okay. All right. All right, thank you. See y'all.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good one.
So I need to get him a receipt, and I need to sign it.
Receipt for the-
Hey, you all, there's one question that I had, and I know from other people that donated money, wherever the money goes, it's not a big deal to me, but I know PBI sometimes puts their name on the money that other people would give them when they give it out, that it's not recognized.
It's their gift.
PBI makes it look like it's their money that they're getting. So,
And I can say we will be the ones that write that check and present it.
but I think they need recognition,
Yeah, what they're gonna,
because you don't want to give $1 million and PBI take credit for it.
at class night, Dan, one of them will come and present it. One of the family members.
And not PBI.
Right.
Or whatever institution. I thought of that the other day. I said, it's
Well,
not,
the recognition needs to go to Marsh and Leon.
right.
These people just, they're just there for the ride, just like we all are.
Yeah, but I'm
They're
saying,
kinfolk, but still,
but I'm saying when PBI shows up over there and gives out
Yeah.
scholarships, that's somebody else's money. It's not PBI, but PBI gives it on behalf of PBI.
what they do is should give it on behalf of
Exactly.
Marsh and Leon and
That's what I want to do. I want to make
Yeah,
sure they get that
them's
recognition.
the people that you want to recognize. always, every time it's give out,
Plaque or
it's
something.
marked Leon Drive.
Installed permanently. Now, if we don't get up and walk, I illegally like to take the mask off. So when does the new
What now?
suggestions come into effect?
What's that on?
It's mandated for 30 days, but I think 6 foot apart, isn't that the main thing?
It is 6 foot. 6 foot apart.
We are absolutely 6 foot apart, like, we're absolutely 6 foot
We
apart.
might need to blow that
We
picture.
6 foot apart.
Hey.
Well, but
Well, I
listen,
sit at the wheel, so you guys can,
I can do Photoshop, I can move people around. KHSAA's rule on group photos is you can be in a group photo with your mask off less than 10 minutes.
It's usually
Is that right?
6 and 10. 6 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
So you put your mask on, everybody get ready, take your mask off, and you can stay that way for 10 minutes.
Who told you?
Okay, Kentucky High School Athletic, they made the rules.
Well, I was gonna ask you if you wanted
I've
to
always
record
pretty
a
much
thing
done
real
that
quick
damn
on what your
place.
plan will be on bringing students back. Kirby did yesterday and Junior did this morning, and gonna get you to, is this, you wanna do it now? You wanna do it now, or you wanna wait till after the board meeting? That's what.
Whatever you want them to do.
I'm on a pretty tight,
Okay,
I'm on a pretty tight current.
We'll be done pretty quickly.
That's fine, that's fine.
You want, I don't know if we've called that up yet now.
Adoption of the working budget.
Let's lay it over here. All right. Take this out of the way.
Did we take that, did we send that to you? You want that picture for the newspaper?
All right, so 2020-21 working budget. As y'all remember earlier in the year, we passed the tentative budget, and I'm going to take my mask off. We passed the tentative budget, so at that time, there's a lot of unknowns. It's pretty much just a guess at what's going to happen in the year ahead based on historical data. So now we're at the working budget. So with the working budget, you have a little better idea of where you're going to start the year. You have a better estimate of your revenues. It's a little more refined of a budget. But at the same time, this year's a year unlike any other. So there's still several unknowns as far as COVID-19, how that's going to affect funding. So I will say that this budget is a very conservative budget. Okay, and I said that at the tentative, and it's still very, very conservative. We want to be as accurate as we can, but at the same time, this overinflates our expenses and deflates our revenue. So the goal is that we don't get to the end of the year and think we should have had more money than we actually have, or think that we would have less expenses than we actually have. So again, expenses are overinflated, revenues are underinflated. Budget assumptions. So, you all, we've kind of talked, we're thinking keeping tax rates the same, no tax increase. So if y'all jump me here in a minute and raise taxes, I'll be up again all night, okay? So, this is based on no tax increase, seek funding remaining the same, which they've told us will happen for this year, provided funding is still there. And then no overall payroll increase, which means that both we did not give a salary increase, but also the state froze all the fringe benefits, so those are not increasing. And also, the high school project would not substantially affect this budget year. It will, we should see the bulk of that cost in the next budget year. All right, so general fund is the one that we really want to focus on. That's the one that is more tax dollars, okay? So general fund, we do have a balanced budget. And it comes in actually at about $13 million. So just over $13 million. Receipts, I just want to show you all this breakdown of where our revenue is projected to come from. Local revenue, that's your property, motor vehicle, utility, personal property, interest on our deposits. That is of almost $3 million. State revenue is projected at $7.7 million. And federal and other is less than $1 million. So we don't have very much federal money in our general fund. That's typically in special revenue. So over 66%, or approximately 66% of our money in the general fund comes from the state. See, about a quarter of it comes from local, and then a very small 8% that comes from federal. Expenses, payroll is by far our largest expense. It makes up 71% of our general fund expenditures between the salaries themselves and the fringe benefits. So talking a little bit about payroll, it should overall stay level, pretty close. Our substitute expenses are down because we've been in this virtual learning. You don't need substitutes as much. Again, the salaries are level and the fringe is frozen. Look at a few things that we have budgeted in here. I've put in there about $200,000 for bus replacement. As you all know, there's a Volkswagen settlement that's out there that will help us get about 50% of buses paid for. Each bus right now costs about $112,000 new. We anticipate about 4 buses that we will be able to replace through that. We also have another 2 buses that will be through the Kentucky Clean Diesel Grant. But we've put in there about $200,000 towards our matches, but there will be some other matches that come out of some other funds aside from the general fund. Also, I put in there about $180,000 for improvements, and you see I labeled it as middle school and high school. That's more of the facility upgrades that you all are going to also talk about a little bit later in the budget. And that $180,000 is just an approximation. And as we go along through that, we'll be able to see some other things in there as well. Debt service. Now, these numbers are for all of our funds because we do have a few debt service that come out of a fund besides the general fund. We're looking at about $169,000 in principal for the year and almost $500,000 or over $500,000 in interest for the year. And I wanted to give this little projection in there too. You can see fiscal year 21 where our service is at, and it kind of trickles down. Now the caveat to that is once we build the high school, that's going to jump that back up. Okay. But wanted to show you that for this past year, fiscal year 20, we did drop off 2 of our debt service payments. This year, we're going to actually pay off a very large one. That was the primary school and also this building here, central office. That will be paid off, but we've also staggered our payments to where that when that one drops off, we start being a little more aggressive on some of our other payments. All right. We do have a few fund transfers in there. So capital funds of $145,000, building funds of $763,000. And the reason I wanted to point this out to you is, as we've talked before, this is probably the last year we're going to be able to do these large transfers. Now, as we start getting in to the high school project, we're going to have to start using a lot of those monies that we've been using for transfers towards that debt service. All right, and contingency. This is another area that I really strive to bump in this budget. So contingency means if something happens, it's kind of our buffer. Okay? The state requires 2% contingency. Historically, we've been around 6 to 8% the last few years, at least since I've been finance officer. This budget here, I pushed it to over $1.5 million, which is an 11% contingency. Now, why did I do that? Because of COVID-19, we don't really know what's going to happen in the next year. We've been told to anticipate somewhere between a 12 and 24% budget cut at the state. Don't know if that will ever come to fruition, but they've thought maybe 12 to 24%. Now, I did see just this week they released their August receipts, and receipts were actually up in the month of August compared to what they were last year. If that trend holds or not, I don't know. But I did want to try to push in there that 11% contingency just to give us a little more breathing room as we go along. So working budget, again, COVID uncertainty with the budget cuts. Do we have increased operational costs, with all the masks, increased sanitization, and all the other plexiglass and things that we've had to purchase? We could end up the year with a little bit higher operational costs. And also, we don't know how it's going to impact future grants. We've been very fortunate as a district in that we're very aggressive in going after grants. And as the state and federal government have to start cutting their budgets, those grants are probably going to be on the chopping block. So, I put that seesaw in there because doing your working budget, you try to balance. You try not to be too pessimistic, but at the same time, you have to be prepared for what's coming down the road. And also, I just added another quick note in there about the high school, and we have to be prepared. That's going to tighten our budget quite a bit as we go into the next few years. anyways, I think that's my spiel on the working budget. If y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to entertain those. The working budget is on your desks, by the way. It's in the blue folder there. It's 63 pages if you want to skim through it. And if not, that's what you pay me for.
Zach, I'd like to say the contingency, or I think that's very good.
I think that's a wise move
It's
right now.
really a wise move.
The unknown's a little frightening, need a motion to accept this.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Unanimous. Item 46, everybody's favorite, tax rates.
All right, so we did discuss this quite a bit yesterday. We're very fortunate in that for the year ahead, we had a very nice boost in our assessments, about a $24 million boost to our assessments. So we actually are going to be revenue positive without having to increase our tax rate. So my recommendation to you all today is that we keep our tax rates the same at 53.7.
And then motor vehicle would be
The same.
the same, 53.9.
Yeah.
I move we accept that.
All in favor?
Please, one.
Unanimous. Item 47, consideration of district facility.
All right, we've talked about this for some time, especially prior to us getting into the high school project, upgrading some of our facilities. So I'm going to ask you all to consider for approval tonight some work to be done on our track to refurbish this, and with this work we would be working with AG Sports Services, and they are on our direct bid list, so they have to bid these out, so they are on that list. In addition to that, we can put all this in one motion. I would also like for you all to give me permission to bid and negotiate the lowest price on doing some repairs to our fitness center there at the Greene County High School. We've gotten some numbers on that. With that, none of these vendors are on our bid list per se through Greg. So what we need to do, we'll put a bid out for that, take what we already have, we'll see if there's any others that come in lower than that, and we'll actually get a bid in on that since there's no vendors that are on the Greg bid list. Now, I also would ask that you all allow us to permission to bid and also negotiate the lowest price on getting the new scoreboard installed at the football field. As you know, Limestone Bank purchased the scoreboard for us. So we're certainly appreciative of that, but we do need to install it. So it's a big board, and it's going to take a crane to put it in there. They're going to have to bore some fiber optic cables, run those under the track up to the press box, but it will be a video board. So that'll be there at the football field, but I do need permission, if you all would, to allow us to bid that out and negotiate the lowest price on that. We have some numbers on that already, but we do need to bid it and see what all we get. So if we could, put that in motion to do the work on the track, and then to, with AG Sports Services, and then to bid out the work at the fitness center and the installation of the scoreboard.
I'll make the motion.
All in favor? Superintendent leadership plan.
All right, each year I do a leadership plan, and I'll be brief. This year I would like to focus on Standard 4, which is human resource leadership, and Standard 7, which is influential leadership. Some things that I would like to do is when we're working with human resource, working with our staff members, I would like to continue to use data to create the best work environment that we can for our staff. And I think that's very important. It's magnified right now because everybody's stressed, going through what we're going through. So I want to create the best work environment that we can. We do that through data. We have a leadership practices inventory. We get results back, and we try to work on areas to improve. Another thing that's part of that, is just the evaluation of staff members. They do a self-reflection, they do a professional growth plan. With my administrators, I go around and I do a fall site visit, and then I also do a spring site visit. These are the people that I evaluate. So really what I want to do in that is, just like I want to work with you all to be better on some of these standards, I really want to get in there and work with them on an improvement, not only for me to create the best work environment we can, but work with them to create the best work environment they can in their buildings. And another thing that I would like to look at as we go throughout this year is develop a Grow Your Own Leadership program. I think we really need to look at that, look at our staff members, those that have potential for leadership. I'm thankful that years ago someone looked at me and took a chance on me. As I was started in this district as a teacher and a coach, Mr. Tucker looked at me, Todd Tucker, one year, and he said, "I want you to be my athletic director." And from there, I always say I didn't set out to become superintendent, but one thing built upon the other things, and people saw potential in it. So I'm appreciative of that, and I think we need to look and see potential in others and try to recognize them for that and build them and help them grow. So that's something I would like to do, is a Grow Your Own Leadership program as I go throughout the year. Standard 7 is influential leadership. Not to spend too much time on this, but especially during this time, I would like to be, I think we've been active, but continue to be active, maybe even more active. The impact of proposed legislation to the local board here and to our staff members, how does it impact them? How does it impact us as a board? Continue to look at laws and policies and interpret those, proceed in the wisest way that we can, the best way that we can. Continue to work with local leaders, state leaders, national leaders, whether that be a mayor, or judge, state representative, state senator, or Brett Guthrie. He was at our Rotary meeting the other day, and Zach and myself and some Rotary members have actually communicated through an ARC grant with them that we're working on. So they're always glad to help, but a lot of times it's just making that contact. So we need to continue to do that. So those are two areas I would like to focus on this year. You have that in there. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to try and answer that. If not, that's going to be my focus this year. That's not everything, but that's a couple things.
Good place to start, isn't it?
I think we had a motion, Will.
It does. If you will.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
In favor? Consideration of revisions to the reopening plan.
Okay, what we have here is a couple things that we've done. We've worked on this reopening plan for some time, and really, here's the big items, or the only items that are going to be revised, and I'll highlight these in the minutes and in the motion. Under the yellow light phase, we've really tried to limit like cross-school classes, cross-school programs, but as you know, Taylor and Campbellsville use our area technology center. So, and sometimes we may have to limit that to virtual options, but at times we need them to be in the building. So, I guess I would just like to add a clause in there, if you all would allow me to prove what students when they come in, because they do need to be there sometime. But I will do that in conjunction with Superintendent Higdon and Superintendent Kirby Smith in those districts. We'll work out the best way that we can for the best time for those students to be in our facilities.
Right.
Obviously, if we're in the red light and we're not in school, that facility is going to be closed. But when we open back up, there'll be times our students need to be there. And we don't want to suppress anyone or hold anybody back, but we want to give them that opportunity. So I guess just give me the discretion to move forward on that like we need to. And also give me the discretion under when we're in red light. As you know, KHSAA has given the okay to proceed with athletics. So instead of saying all activities canceled, just give me the discretion and permission to move forward in the things that have been approved. There's things that we will not move forward in. But as you know, right now we have students coming inside the schools every day in small groups. Right. And a lot of our teams are operating under those small groups. And we've talked about, sometimes that seems backwards, but that's where we're at right now. That's where we're at, and that's the guidelines we have to work under. And then the other thing is, I worked with Mr. Daniels and the principals. We put an athletic document together. And this matches up with the state document on how to return to sports. And we've got a couple of acknowledgements in here that we can put in the motion on this revision. Just that they acknowledge that the risk of participating in athletics. And also, the state has been big on if parents want to take their child to a game, we can't put as many on a bus. We're doing one per seat. But if that parent wants to take them to the game, they can fill this form out and they can drive them to the game or the event instead of them riding the bus. And that helps too to lower the number. That's not an expectation, but that's an option. So through the reopening plan, just the revisions to that plan, and also just the acceptance of the document here for athletics and the acknowledgements.
I'll make that motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Is it on the buses, just 9 people all?
No, we can do, I think we can get about 22 on there because we're going to do one per seat. They got to have their mask on, but one per seat.
I know I heard where they had to start with 9 people. And you take a whole team out there playing and then go into the weight room and the dressing room and put 9 on the bus. That's ridiculous.
Well, that was a recommendation, not a requirement. So
Gotcha.
it's just not feasible for most districts in this community.
I got you.
At any function like that, one bus gonna be able to carry all the.
Most things will, Mike. Football already took 2, so they'll be okay. We may have to add a bus here or there, and we've got that in that document. That, let the kids ride with the parents if they want, then put one per seat. Then if we have to take a second bus, we'll just take a second bus.
Item 50, district funding assurances.
This is for state and federal assurances. It also includes our catch money, but basically just says that we will comply with the provisions to spend the federal funds as they come in and the state funds as they come in. So we need approval on these assurances, saying we'll do what they say we should be doing.
I'll make the motion.
All in favor? Shortened school day waivers.
Let's see, you should have those in your enclosure from Mr. Bennett, so we just need approval on those.
I'll make a motion.
I second.
All in favor? Superintendent informs the board of personnel actions taken.
And once again, we don't need approval, but you have all those enclosures.
Several of them.
Several
I
of
noticed.
them.
People retire. We can motion to accept those.
No,
We don't.
we just review them. Do those.
And report.
All right, just give an update to you all in the community. We started school in person. We had 1 week of in person. We're about to finish up week 3 of virtual learning. As you all may have noticed, our index is starting to come down, which is a good thing. So we're moving back to that period that we hope to be able to offer in-person learning again. And we'll give an update to our community in the morning after we see the numbers tonight. But it's been on a downward trend, which is a good thing. So we want to get back to the yellow light phase. Our community's been very adamant, and we have too as a board, that we want our kids in school and we feel it's safe to do so. So we feel like we're moving in that direction. We feel like that will be soon.
What is the last number?
It was 11.06 on our index.
Oh, okay.
At one time it was up at 20,
Right.
and so it's really started dropping. We hope to see that today. I've not looked at the numbers, but they'll be out this afternoon if they're not already. But as soon as they are, we'll make that announcement. We've been looking at that a week at a time. This week we may continue to do that, but tell them, hey, if it reaches that point, we'll give them notice and we'll get our students back in buildings. But we'll make that announcement tomorrow. So we're moving in that direction, and we want to do that in a safe way, and we'll do that. We've had some cases here in the district, cases with students and staff. Fortunately, they've gotten through this. They're not all released, but they're moving in that direction. We're thankful for that. And like I said before, we've had small groups coming in, sometimes individually, sometimes in groups. I think you can have up to 14. They can come in and work with the teacher even though we're on in a virtual setting. So I would encourage our community, if they haven't been doing that and they need their child to come in and work with that teacher while we're out. Because sometimes they need that one-on-one. But as soon as we can offer that in-person option, we'll be excited to do so. So that's...
What's your thought, week or so? I mean, if the trend goes?
Yeah, I've been looking at potentially some numbers coming off even this weekend. I could see it hitting yellow sometime this coming week. So now, but at the same time, you don't know what's going to be coming in. So
We have a holiday in there.
that's where you have to find the balance. But if we look at where it's been moving, if it continued to do so, we're approaching that mark.
It's going in the right direction.
It has been. I better knock on wood, the numbers come out tonight. All right, that's all on my report.
Well, the next regularly scheduled board meeting is October 8th, and that's during fall break, but we kind of took a consensus before the meeting and that everybody was not going to be taking fall break yet of this bunch, so we'll set that meeting for October.
And before we officially adjourn, I will say this board, I need to notify the public, we will meet together on the 22nd of this month for a KSBA fall conference. So I always need to notify public on that. Kids will have fall break, but we'll be here. So.
There's no other business to discuss. We might entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
I think I saw Marshall's hand.
Don't matter. Second.
All in favor? Adjourn.